Once again, a big greetings to everyone. This time I will be very privileged again because another wonderful soul has agreed to record a video content for this channel. To my great joy and for a change, actually, we have an extraordinary lady this time who comes to us from a very traditional yogic tantric spiritual tradition called the Nāth Saṃpradāya. And it is about my sister in the tradition as well. And at the same time, the person from which I can say that I also learned from her in a certain way. Her name is Yogi Lakshminath Maharaj. Lakshmi ji, welcome, and Adesh.
Adesh, I'm glad to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me. I hope we will do the best interview ever.
We will. And tell me before we start, I said yogi. I didn't say yogini. So yogi is also fine for a female.
Yeah, of course. Usually I say about me that I'm yogi, not yogini. The Atman, the soul, has no gender, basically.
Beautiful.
It doesn't matter who are you.
Correct.
Man, woman, or
Correct.
something else.
And tell me, how are you feeling right now? And is it cold a little bit there in California right now?
I'm fine. I'm very good. Thank you. And here is sunny, but a little bit colder than usual, but it's okay. It's not winter yet.
Right. If it's fine with you, if you are in a mood, maybe we can actually start immediately with the questions, right?
Yes, please.
For the very beginning, can you tell us a little bit about your early life in a sense of what was Lakshminath like as a girl, as a teenager, and maybe even what were your interests and dreams, and what actually did you imagine yourself in your future?
Actually, in Nāth Saṃpradāya, yogis usually don't talk about life before they came into tradition because they believe that their real life began from the moment of initiation, and the past doesn't matter. And what matters is your relationship with the guru and your yoga sadhana. And moreover, Nath yogi who has realized the eternal Atman cannot associate himself with a specific birth or death or life. So it is a very difficult question maybe for a Nath yogi, but I can tell you something, of course, that I was born in an ordinary family in Soviet Union, in Bryansk city. It's not a big city, but not a small city also. And the city is located about 400 kilometers from Moscow to southwest, near Ukrainian border.
Right.
And I went to school and graduated in Bryansk State University, and I graduated as engineer, and after I worked in IT. So I had a job, pretty good job for that time. So it was quite ordinary beginning of the life, I think. Nothing special. And yes.
I'm listening to you, and actually now is the perfect moment when I can ask you, how did it came about, and when that moment of yoga, and more specifically Nāth Saṃpradāya?
Okay. In that time, in my 16 or 20s, I can say that I thought about spirituality. I didn't know much about it, really. I felt some connection with Jesus Christ, because, it's a Christian area. But I didn't like church. And sometimes I prayed to Jesus in my heart, and I felt something, some bright light, and it was enough for me.
Right.
So maybe I can say you that at that time I realized that I need wisdom and knowledge of the universe. So I didn't know about yoga, about spiritual paths. Just I wanted to know more about the universe, about me, and about all the connections in the world. So
Right.
it was desire of the knowledge, and I found it later in the yoga, of course. So first I heard about yoga at the age of 22, when I tried to find something to fix problems with my back. It was not serious problem, but I felt some pain, and I started to search. There was a lack of information about yoga at that city at that time. There was no internet almost. But I found somewhere the CD, if you remember what is CD.
Yes.
With Sukshma Vyayama, some yogic exercises. And I started to do some of them. And a few months later, I found a yoga classes in my city and started visiting these classes with my mother and sister. So almost the whole family.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it was a nice time. And it so happened that a yoga teacher of that classes introduced us all, the whole group, yoga group, to his guru. And it was a Guruji, Yogi Matsyendranath, my guru, and your guru.
Yes.
And it was in 2005, a long time ago.
Indeed.
Almost 18 years, yeah. So Guruji was born in Bryansk too, as you know.
Yes.
But at that time, as I remember, he just visited Bryansk sometimes, maybe once a year, and he lived mostly in India or maybe in Korea somewhere. Yeah. So that's how we met with Guruji. And at that time, I didn't know much about Guru and Shishya relationships, about discipleships, about traditions and initiations, mantras, and so on. I was very ignorant about these things.
Yeah.
But I felt some connect with Guruji in my heart. And he seemed to me as a very unusual and wise person who went beyond the boundaries of everyday life. And I wanted to follow him. So I can say that I felt that it was a turning point in my life. So I need to decide to follow or not follow the Guru. But I've decided to become his Shishya and disciple. And it was a great move for me.
Yeah. Indeed, a beautiful decision.
Yeah. But at that time, I didn't realize that. Just it's like intuition, maybe, or something. Because I didn't know much about it. Who is Guru and what is not tradition? I just started to practice yoga. Maybe 6 months I practiced when I met the Guru. So I just read the Yoga Sutra Patanjali and maybe Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and that's all.
Yes. But the whole process actually happened very natural and organic for you in a way. It was not obsessive about it. Yeah.
Yes. So I didn't find the Guru, or didn't looking for a Guru at that time. So just he appeared before my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Materialization.
yes, but we were born in the same city, so it's maybe natural, yeah. But after I became the shishya, disciple, I began to study yoga and tantra with a great intensity. So I felt a huge interest and dedicated myself to this path. It was very quickly after I became a disciple. So before that, I didn't know anything, and after that first initiation, maybe a few months later, I already was so dedicated to this path. It is interesting for me also why it so happened. Maybe because of my past lives, I don't know. I remembered something.
The beautiful world opened to you, and actually, because I saw your Janma Kundali, and when I talked with Visti Larsen, it was one of the videos on this channel about spirituality in Janma Kundali. And you have a very beautiful yoga, which very precisely is showing us actually that is the way of the Atma itself, the way of your soul. So we can either say it's a karmic thing from the previous incarnations or whatever it might be, but it is a chosen thing. It is not, oh, I want to do this, I'm obsessive about this, and for you it didn't happen from the standpoint of the ahamkara. Yeah.
So beautiful. Maybe we can say I had no choice in that life.
Yeah.
In this life.
Yeah, choiceless choice. Yeah, or whatever. But tell me this. This is actually interesting. Because you mentioned initiations, the dīkṣās. Within the Nath tradition, as I know, only a female guru can give the highest dīkṣā to a female disciple. Is that correct? And can you tell us a little bit about various dīkṣās within the Sampradaya?
Yes, you're correct. It's not a simple topic for the women also. In Nāth Saṃpradāya, we can have different gurus. One Mula guru, the main guru, who teaches you everything and whom you follow. And we have different initiations, different dīkṣās in tradition, and each dīkṣā can be received from different guru, or maybe from one guru. It depends on situation. So I have a few gurus also, and the main guru, Mula guru, is Guruji Matsyendranath Maharaj, who was my first guru and who guided me all these years, 18 years. So in 2010, Guruji asked me if I wanted to receive the last higher initiation. That means full sannyasa. And before that conversation, I never thought about this, never thought about becoming a darshani. And
right.
I was absolutely happy to follow my guru and practice my sadhana. And at that time, I had a job in society, so to earning some money. And I helped Guruji's projects to spread tradition. I was doing some websites and translation. So I was happy to just follow my guru, but he asked me about this initiation. So I feel that maybe it's his will and his blessing for me to become a full sannyasi and become a female guru for others. Maybe it will help him to develop and to spread Nath tradition in the West. So it's a short explanation how I become Darshani, and after I explain you about all the dīkṣās in our tradition. So in the summer of 2011, I went to Indian jungle to meet my female guru, who will give me Chira Diksha. So her name is Yogi Lakshminath Maharaj, or Yogini. Some people call Yogini, some just Yogi. And her forest ashram was full of ananda, bliss. So it is a difficult process, cutting the ears, but in that ashram full of bliss, I felt very good, even if I felt some pain.
Yes.
So I was not afraid in the jungle. It sounds terrible for some people.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
Yeah, but I can say unfortunately, but not. My Guruji took Mahasamadhi 2 years ago, so she passed away, and I'm sad about it, but I also at the same time I'm happy for her, because it is the main goal of the yogi.
Yeah.
And now I can communicate with her only in my heart, not in person in India. Let's move to the initiations of our tradition. We have 3 main initiations, dīkṣās, and first dīkṣā is when person becomes a disciple of particular guru and starts to follow his instructions. And very often it is called mantra dīkṣā, because usually guru gives the mantra to his new disciple. And the disciple practices yoga, mantra japa, performs guru seva, service for guru. He studies texts of tradition and so on. So he does all that guru suggests. It can be various practices and recommendation depending on the lifestyle of person. So it's a common initiation, mantra dīkṣā. Sometimes it is called avalambi or jigyasu, and in India there are a lot of people, householders, who took this initiation from the Indian gurus, and they just live their usual lives.
Yeah.
And worship.
Yes.
Yeah, they worship Goraknath, and they visit some temples and gurus sometimes, or maybe every evening for the arti. The next initiation is Choti Diksha. That means Shishya goes deeper into tradition, and his intentions are serious, and he is devoted to the guru and the yogic path with all his heart. It's more serious thing. Person who has received Choti Diksha is called Aughar, and guru gives him Nadi Janeo. This the type, one of these. The special attribute consists of black woolen thread, vistal, ring, crystal, rudraksha, and coral. But there can be variations of this. It's okay. And this Nadi Janeo is connected with the main 5 elements of universe, and with the nada, the primordial sound or vibration, or Shabda Brahman. This Nadi Janeo is connected also with the chakras and channels in the body. So this Nadi Janeo helps to transform the structure of subtle body of sadhaka. And it also indicates that the person is a Nath yogi in Indian society. I mean, appearance.
Yeah.
Society.
The spiritual insignias. Yes.
Yeah, because in the West, people, they don't understand what is it. So it doesn't not matter at all. And often Chati Diksha is associated with taking sannyasa, but not always. There can be householders, grihasthas, who took this initiation, and it is normal if they dressed as ordinary people, have a job and family, but still they are highly motivated and they practice a lot and they are dedicated to the path of yoga. And as I know, their practice can include more tantric elements needed for social life than the practice of sadhu and sannyasi. So when you're sadhu, you don't need a lot of tantra. Actually, you just live your simple life and meditate. And the last initiation is Chira Diksha, the highest Diksha, yeah? And that means full sannyasa. And Guru makes cuts through the centers of the ears and inserts special earring there, kundalas. So you can see my ears.
Yes, the beautiful ones, yes.
And kundalas is the earring around.
Right.
And it can be undone. And this diksha means you are not forever. And you never change your mind. So you immerse yourself in the sadhana and tradition 100%. So it's a very serious thing. And these two kundalas, they symbolize the moon and sun, and Shiva and Shakti, Prakasha and Vimarsha, and so on. And this initiation helps to integrate these polarities in the body, in own body. And finally realize this samarasya. Samarasya means state of complete unity, Shiva and Shakti. And maybe another meaning is unified perception of all objects in the world. So it's a state of integration of matter and the spirit, immanent and transcendent reality in the body. Of course, samarasya doesn't happen immediately when you receive this Chira Diksha. So it may require years of sadhana or will not happen at all. So there is no guarantee.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah. Because people sometimes think that, okay, I will receive the diksha. Wow, everything is, I finished.
Yeah. But all the initiation in our tradition is, they are just yogic samskaras. So not the magic pills.
Right.
So that means you receive the good seed and you need to cultivate it. And maybe you will get some result.
Yeah.
But as you know, some people don't do it. Just cut the ears and receive this Nadijaneo, and they continue to live as they used to.
Yeah.
And do some ridiculous things. So
unfortunately, more of marketing thing and whatever. Yeah. You're right. You know that much better than myself. Yes.
In modern society, in Western society, it is so cool to have this piercing. Sometimes I can hear from the people on the street, "Wow, so cool! You have." Yes, they don't understand. It's okay, but some of them ask me where I did it, how they can do it the same. So it's funny, maybe.
It could
Yeah.
be. If somebody asks me that, maybe who knows, sometimes in the future we will see. Um, I will send them to the forest in India when Lakshmiji told me, go to the forest.
Yes. So really, I have heard that some yogis die during this procedure. So it's dangerous for the
Yes.
people. If you're afraid, if you're not ready, you can die. If there is no blessing of Guru Goraknath, you can die.
The life can be taken away. Yes, I spoke with
Yeah.
Guruji about those scenarios can happen. Yeah, to some people.
So maybe to very big price for the piercing.
Yeah. For some people, better to stay away from it. Yeah, indeed.
Yes. So
Uh, mhm.
yeah.
No. Actually, I wanted to. You started speaking about dīkṣās. If you want to add something, feel free to do
Yeah.
so. Mhm.
Yes, because we have some other dīkṣās, other initiation in our tradition, not the main one.
Mhm.
Babu dīkṣā,
Mhm.
maybe you heard about it. Babu dīkṣā connected with applying ashes to the body.
Mhm.
It's a special sadhana, and for the sadhu, not for rihastas usually.
Yeah.
And Lango dīkṣā connected with the control of sexual energy, sexual instinct, and Upadesha Diksha, that is a worship of the goddess of Yogamaya Balasundari. So some yogis don't receive these dikshas. Some of them yes, some not. So it's they are not they important maybe, but for some people it is important to do these practices.
Right. Beautiful.
So just to mention about this, I want to mention.
Yeah. It's good to be known. And tell me this, from your personal experience, can you maybe tell us what could be the main difference, so to say, or maybe even similarities between Nathas and other yogic and tantric traditions?
It's a big topic.
Yeah.
Big question, yes, because there are can be a lot of differences or similarities, and there are a lot of traditions, But from my experience, the main difference is in the Nath tradition, the yoga is the red line of all your practices, all your lifestyle. So yoga is the most important thing. I mean yoga as union of Atman and Paramatman, or Brahman, and yoga as a state of shunya, void or emptiness, that integrates all the forms, all the energies of the world. So all the methods that we practice in Nath tradition are directed on this experience, on the realization of Atman, our higher nature. So I understand that all these things you can find in other traditions else. So maybe there are common goals in the most Indian traditions, but Nath has tried to overcome the limitations of tradition or religion and reach the essence of being.
Mm-hmm.
This essence is beyond all definition, and it is the same in all tradition, in all religion. So
Right.
they call it Alak Niranjan. This alak niranjan is something that can't be described, actually. Something that is extraordinarily pure.
Spotless, yes.
Yes, spotless. Good word. Yeah. So if we look at the history of the Nāth Saṃpradāya, we will see that Nath yogis were people of different Indian traditions, even Buddhists and Muslims. Of course, mostly Naths are Shaivas, because historically it was Shiva who gave yoga to people. And it was the incarnation of Shiva, Mahayogi Goraknath, who spread this knowledge among the people. But Vaishnavas, Jainas, Vedantis, and other also became Nathas. And it is possible because the teaching of Goraknath is universal and free from religious dogma.
Correct.
So the path of Nathas is oriented on the emptiness that unites all contradictions. So this is the main point of Nath tradition, I think, because almost all tradition and religious have some part that is connected with yoga. So we know even in Christianity, there are practices that are very similar to yogic ones, with the breathing maybe, or prayer. Christian hermits are very similar to yogis.
Yes.
Yeah, so any hermit is a yogi, we can say. So because yogic state, the state of yoga, is something that overcome all the differences of the traditions and religions. In Christianity, in some Buddhism, or maybe Islam, Sufis, Sufis, yeah. So if you take some non-Indian traditions, that's also possible to practice yoga. And one more thing, the Nath tradition maintains that the state of yoga, as well as state of perfection and freedom from all limitation, that is moksha, can be realized in the human body, in this human incarnation. And Mahayogi Goraknath, as well as other famous siddhas in our tradition, they are embodiment of this ideal for the practitioner. So not the Shiva himself, like a subtle form, energetic form of the god, but human form. The Goraknath is a Shiva avatar in human form.
Yes.
And so it is close to us, to our understanding, because we are humans, human beings. I'm not saying that Nath tradition is better than other traditions or spiritual paths, but it is the ancient and original tradition of yoga. Nāth Saṃpradāya has developed effective paths to moksha, to liberation, and to revelation their one's original nature. So, direct way to the moksha, as Nath has said in India.
Because you put it very beautifully.
Because there are a lot of distractions on the way. You can go like this, and or just a straight line. Yes.
I think maybe it's a good time to maybe add something like apart from the tradition in which you established yourself and became a guru. Are there any other particular spiritual lineages or teachings in India that you hold in very high esteem and that have maybe in a way captured your attention as well?
Yeah. I practice Shriviti Tantra. And maybe, you know, there are a lot of connections between Nāth Saṃpradāya and Tantra. So we can say that Natha yoga is the tantric yoga because it has many elements of Tantra or from Tantra. And we may say that Nath tradition developed in tantric context historically in the past.
Right.
And one of the founders of our tradition was Mahayogi Matsyendranath, the great tantric teacher of the past. So for me, the studying of Tantra through the practice helps me to understand Nath tradition better. So it is very useful for me. And moreover, in my experience, the highest level of tantric sadhana is the pure yoga. And the only difference is that Tantra is more about fullness and yoga is more about emptiness. Different as accents. Yeah.
And they complement each other very good. Yeah.
Yes.
If you maybe permit me, very, very little. I remember when Guruji told me one time when Yogi Shri Mithilasnathji, the Guruji's guru, actually he told him, I think, that actually every technique in a way is what Tantra actually is. So we can say that many things are actually Tantra in a way, and there is no yoga without Tantra or Tantra without yoga. It doesn't matter, right? They complement each other very good. Yeah.
Yes, this is right. So that's why I practice Sri Vidya, but with yogic goals, you know, because the Tantra you can practice and try to reach some siddhas, some success in a society, to be a rich man or to have a good wife, like this. For me, it's very useful with a yogic perspective.
Some do it for Boga, some for yoga.
Yeah. It is very helpful with the Kundalini awakening. Personally, I teach my students some basics of the Tantra because it is very helpful in the social life. We live not in the cave.
Yeah.
And so every day we communicate with people and there are some energy exchange all the time. So through the Tantra, you understand the energies. You understand how to manage energy. Through the goddess, it is very useful. It's necessary.
Indeed.
In modern world, yeah.
Indeed. Can you maybe tell us, I asked Guruji in one of those videos, what separates the authentic yoga through the Sampradayas and the yoga that's being propagated in the West? Huge topic as well.
Yeah. You have good questions.
Thank you.
For me, I think that main thing is the presence of a guru. Authentic yoga requires a teacher, but not the yoga teacher as we know in the West. The right word is guru, not yoga teacher. Guru who destroys your ignorance, who is the source of divine grace. And Guru shares his own realization of Atman with disciple. So he accepts the disciple as his own son, spiritual child, and he gives him protection, support in all different situations that can happen in the life. And this relationship lasts all life. all life long. The practice of authentic yoga is a long path, not just a few months of years. And yoga is the preparation to the death. And
a beautiful.
Yes, it's beautiful, but it's mind-blowing for them Western people usually. But authentic yoga practice for student in this life, this practice finishes when he is leaving the body. So until the last moment of the life. So this is the main difference. Successful yogis can decide, then they leave this world, leave this body, and do it through the samadhi state. So, because the exercises, some asanas, pranayamas, some techniques may be the same, but intention, but the direction are different.
Yeah, and seriousness and everything else. Yes. But we unfortunately have that, we call it yoga tourism, or Guruji have a very beautiful, and it's maybe a funny term for some people, but for me it's very, very precise. He called it spiritual McDonald's. And unfortunately it is so. Even in India, you know, I tell that most of the time, you know it much better than myself. You have that yoga tourism, and for me personally, I think it will be at least honest, if nothing else, to call these people the yoga instructors or whatever, right?
Yes,
but not gurus, right? It's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah. Through your insights and your experience as a guru, and I think this question were asked in one of in that Russian interview, actually, in Russian language. What qualities should someone who wants to be a serious disciple should possess?
It's a good question. This person must be ready to surrender to the guru and trust guru and be as empty vessel that guru will fill with his knowledge and wisdom and grace. I know it's a beautiful image, but this is right. It's true. The disciple needs to be open to guru, not lie to him, not hide anything from him. So sincerity is necessary in this relationship. And of course, the student must be able to maintain some discipline and at least a little control his feelings and emotions, from my opinion.
Right.
And he must understand that guru-shishya relationship is a serious thing, the most sacred thing in the world. So also I can recommend Western practitioners who plan to become a disciple to learn who is guru in Indian culture. Somehow from internet, from the books maybe. And it can help to build the correct relationships with the guru in future. Because the most common mistake that Western practitioners make is to treat the guru as a university teacher, for example, or as a coach or lecturer, or like this, who provides you with a certain service and who has to teach you something. So they're waiting that service. But the truth is the guru shouldn't do it. And it is not he who serves you, it is you who should serve him, actually. So different understanding.
Right.
And guru is a person who, through his practice, who has realized the highest state of yoga, the spiritual purity, who is the supreme reality is in the human body. So he can share this realization, this experience with you, with disciple. And if disciple will be open and empty.
Yes.
So in fact, Guru doesn't teach through the information, through the words maybe. He teaches through the transmission of energy and experience. This is the main point.
Yes.
Difference between some coach or instructor and Guru.
Through his realization and experience. Yes, yes.
Yes. Of course, usually Guru gives some information or knowledge about spiritual paths, about tradition and how to practice. Usually, yes, but the most important things happen on a subtle level, energetic level. There are some cases then Guru doesn't talk much, explain almost nothing, but you just sit near him and listen, perceive his state, and you understand all you need to know, and answer just appear in your head. It's magic, miracle.
It is.
So you, in this case, you unite with the Guru on a subtle energetic level and receive all the answers, all the instructions. So that's why disciples should listen to Guru very carefully, with empty mind. Listen his words, of course, but listen his state if it's possible also. Listen to his state, the energy, maybe.
That which is beyond the words, yeah.
This ability to be empty, to be receptive, it is very important, but unfortunately, it is a rare quality in modern people, as I see from my experience. So people used to perceive the information like in school, in university, from the video, but a satsang is different thing.
Right. And when you're saying actually empty, it reminded me in a way, the problem is you are 100% correct. Most of the people have that kind of it's intellectual gymnastics actually, and they like to make certain movies in their heads about something, and when you say empty, it actually means forget everything that you've got from your childhood professor, whoever it might be, doesn't matter, just come with, say, tabula rasa, the blank board actually. So to be completely empty and receptive, it's a bit hard for the people in the Western society. It is.
But we can develop these qualities. It's possible for every human. To be empty means to maybe for some time forget who you are, right? Forget your personality, your ego, your status in society. Just be open to know something new, to receive this from the Guru. Anyway, it's a good thing to try, maybe, for every disciple.
So when you say forget, it means like coming detached from the identifications. Yeah.
Yes, I don't think that people can just forget forever. Maybe for half an hour, maybe for 1 hour, maybe, or just when you communicate with your Guru, you can forget.
Yeah, for that brief, beautiful moment. Yeah.
Maybe 5 minutes. Isn't enough for this beginning.
Yeah. Did you want to maybe add something more about the qualities of potential disciple or shishya?
What I was saying, very important qualities, but you can speak more and more about good qualities. So I think it's enough.
Yeah. I think every question that I've asked you, or I will ask you, you can go hours and hours and hours. So listeners can have at least kind of idea of what is important.
Because people are different with different qualities. If they are empty and listen to Guru, always possible to change.
So since you got to know India and the people of that country well, does it seem that we as a Westerners have more kind of prejudices, especially if we believe the mainstream media, about them, or they have about us? Also, the second part of the question could be their attitude towards, the members of the authentic traditions of India who are not Hindus by birth.
There are some moments here, of course. For example, Western people think that all Indian gurus are saints and respectable, and that if they are Hindu, then they can be trusted about yoga and spiritual knowledge, But in fact, there are many fake gurus there who are just businessmen in yoga, in the world of yoga, and sometimes talented speakers, but they have no realization in yoga and they have no purity. So if you're naive, you can be deceived in India, and more than once by that fake gurus.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
Fake sadhus, yeah. And when it comes to spirituality, such stories can bring a great disappointment in life and in the spiritual path. I know such cases. So you believe with all your heart in that fake guru, and after you disappoint. Right. So sometimes it's sad stories. On the other hand, sometimes Indians believe that all Western people are very rich and therefore they can be charged exorbitant prices. And prices for all, for spirituality also. And some Indians believe that in the West, women are easily available for sex. They offer it right away and they are not shy. So it's just from my experience, I tell you. They think it is normal to offer sex when in spiritual sphere. So for me, it was a very weird.
That was actually the tantric side.
Yeah, tantric side. You're absolutely right. Especially if you go to Kamakhya, Kamakhya Peeth, the super tantric place in India, they all offer you sex or tantric practice. This is the second word. First is namaste, for example, and next is offering. Yeah, women should be careful in India. I say not about all Indian people, but some of them, of course. For example, in the jungle, in the village, Indian village, people are different. They usually don't do such things. Yes, they don't know much about your life in the West, but they never ask me about sex or something. They look more pure than if we compare with the city people of in big cities. So you can meet different people there, according your karma, of course, according your kundali.
Indeed.
Yeah, about attitude, you asked if you are not Hindu by birth.
Yeah.
In the Nath tradition, the attitude is good, normal, because as I already said, people with different backgrounds came to the Sampradaya historically, and they were not necessarily Hindu. from different varnas, different religions, different birthplace. So in our tradition, it is not important. Personally, I don't remember bad attitude to me because I was born in Russia.
Yeah.
In the West. But, maybe other tradition have some rules, like you cannot go to some temples if you are not Hindu. In Nepal and in India.
Certain places,
But,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some Brahmins can.
Yes.
They don't allow to come to some parts of the temple, sacred parts. It is okay. I can understand them because Western people, mostly they don't understand nothing in Indian culture. They can offend or do something wrong, something impure to that place, to that sacred place. For example, it's not India, but Bali, Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
the island. There are also Hinduism, kind of Hinduism, and the tourists, Western tourists, they don't respect that in general. And there are some conflicts because the people of that island are very devoted. I know some cases, yeah. But in Nāth Saṃpradāya, all is okay, all is fine with your background. The most more important that you are a good person.
The purity of heart and intention. And actually, at the end of the day, as you said, it is your karma at the end of the day. But the Nathas are very open and not dogmatic in approach as maybe some others. But at the end of the day, the people are people. So
yeah, but you still have to learn the Indian culture if you go to Nath tradition.
Yes.
Because Nath tradition was developed in Indian culture. At least a little, you have to understand this. Some history thing, some cultural thing.
Language thing as well.
Language, yeah, of course. It is not necessary maybe, but it is very useful to know the Hindi and Sanskrit or maybe Gujarati or Marathi. There are a lot of languages in India. It is very helpful in the sadhana, and you can communicate with yogis in India because most of them, they don't know English at all, especially in the villages, the mountains, some sadhu. They don't know, they don't bother about the West.
Yeah. Living their life.
Yeah. So if you want to know something from him, from this person, you need to know at least a little of Hindi, maybe.
Yeah.
Or have a translator with you.
Lakshmiji, how do you see yoga? Because we mentioned the yoga between the authentic traditional yoga and this kind of let's call it a Western thing. How do you see the yoga in the future, and how flexible is it possible to be within tradition and maybe adapt it to the currents of modernity, or from my standpoint, is it much more of a greater importance that the authenticity and integrity of the tradition need to be preserved at all costs, and that the people of the so-called modern world, if they want more profound knowledge and insights, are actually the ones who should be more flexible, respectful, and disciplined and open toward the tradition itself, which actually, in a way, you explained in a previous answer, you add something to it. But what is your actually insight towards the tradition and modernity in a way?
I believe that yoga as a whole should remain authentic and traditional, but there can be some flexibility. In general, the teaching of Goraknath is quite flexible, and it can be applied in different realities, in different societies, and at different times. So because it is beyond time and society, it's important that the core of authentic yoga, that is beyond all social changes, be preserved. Otherwise, it will be no longer yoga, but another temporary movement, just yoga with dogs, or just something temporary. It's just a trend, modern trend. If we will adapt a lot, tradition is eternal, yes, beyond all the changes. That's the point. And also, the Nath tradition is a living tradition. It changes according to time and according to the processes taking place in society. So many hundreds of years, 2,000 years, tradition is always changing somehow. Mm-hmm. But the essence of the tradition remains unchanged. So this is important. Depending on the situation, only external things can change. For example, to give initiation to women or not, to wear traditional clothes or not, allow yogis to marry or not, like this. Some external changes. For example, my Chira Guruji, told me after I became Darshini that I can wear any clothes while I live in Russia. And even I can get a job if I need to, because there are no spiritual society who supports sadhu. So we need money to live, to eat. I just have to always remain a sannyasi within myself, inside. That is important. So this is a kind of flexibility from my understanding. So we can adjust, these rules according to the situation in your society. Because, for example, there was a times, 90s, in the Russia after Soviet Union gone. So it was a dangerous time. And if you, for example, were like me now, and go to the street, it was so dangerous. You can die for this.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, so, or for example, in Muslim countries, there are some Nath yogis in the Pakistan, in Afghanistan, still now, but I'm not sure they're wearing the kundalas or they have temples or mandirs. They, as I know, they have some home temples in their houses, and they wear a normal clothes to that society.
Outside. Yeah.
So there is a flexibility also. I think there is no problem for the future for Nath tradition.
I don't see a problem as well.
But it is available for us, for Western people, and it is quite flexible. If we remain this core of tradition, maybe we need to understand what is the core of tradition. First of all, it is the following the guru and what Goraknath taught. So, and Goraknath said about middle path, golden middle path. It's just freedom from all attachments, freedom from extremes, you're always in the middle. And he taught transcendence. So this is the core of yoga. So you just follow the path of revealing your inherent perfect nature, the knowledge of Atman, Atma Vidya. So the knowledge of universe, And the external things are not so important in this case. Just
because they are actually transient, in transit.
yeah,
And you
yes,
explained the essence of what you're actually explaining to us right now. I can say maybe a combination of a right, proper balance and intelligent approach, which is, yeah.
of course, yeah.
If I may, I would like to maybe make one kind of a request for the very end of this interview. If you are interested sometimes in the future, maybe next year, because I know that you are very busy right now, within the next year, maybe we can do some kind of format where you can take us through some essential elements from the point of view of your practice in the Nath tradition itself. Something similar like Guruji did, I think 3 years ago in Russian, but there is an English titles as well. It was a topic about pranayama, for instance. So would you be maybe open to do something like that maybe next year? We can record it.
Yes, with a great pleasure. Next year it will be fine. About pranayama or
pranayama, or maybe we can think something else as well. Yeah.
I think a pranayama is the main thing, because it's not just breathing techniques, but it's a huge topic, how you manage your energy. So it can be interesting to know, I think. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. And I would like to add something additionally, because I think it was in our last conversation, and this can be very helpful for the people who are listening to this. You actually helped me to remember something. I didn't forget, actually. It is the thing we talked, and it was some specifics about the sadhana, and it's much more easier when we are in India and getting isolated from the society and so on. And even though that everything which I'm doing in my life, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I'm completely immersed in what I'm doing in that particular moment, completely. But I told you, like, Lakshmiji, I cannot wait to go to Bharat to do this. I'm very right now, too many obligations. And you actually told me in moment, don't worry, because everything which you're doing in your life, you can make it to be a sadhana. So it is up to your approach. Whatever you're doing, even as a grihasta, you can make it be a sadhana. So thank you for that as well. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Would you like to add something for the very end, for the listeners, for the brothers and sisters in the Sampradaya, the Shishyas, the Gurus, the whoever is listening?
Thank you for listening to our interview, and I hope your yogic path will be successful, and I wish you great understanding, great wisdom, and wish you live your lives in harmony. I mean, this middle path that Goraknath explained to us. It is really important, and it is really effective for the life, from my opinion. Even in modern times, in every times, I think. So that's my words for you.
I've enjoyed, and I'm sure that everybody else who will, take the time to listen to this will enjoy as well. I'm sure that we will continue. Thank you from the bottom of my heart right now, and Adesh.
Adesh, thank you, Mahakalanat.